Before I go into detail about what I think we should do to avoid another meltdown, I'm going to make a few comments about regulation. As a premise, I like regulation. I like eating food that's been inspected. I like buying gasoline that's been checked by a guy who has some ability to do something in case I'm getting cheated. But I do tire of politicians who say, in response to every recent scandal, crisis, spill, or recall, we need more regulation. And of course, a show trial. You'd think a government with an annual budget of $3.8 trillion would have enough regulation. When I hear that expression, my assumption is the guy's just saying, I want more power. So, the next time regulators release a 1,000-page rulemaking that no normal person would read, I'd like them to take a couple of things into consideration. First of all, regulation homogenizes. If the regulator says, like with subprime housing, everybody jump off a cliff, everybody's going to jump off a cliff. Two, regulators, like armies and TSA guards, they're fighting the last war. Regulations intended to stave off the next crash of 1929 eventually brought us the savings and loan crisis. Regulations intended to stave off the next savings and loan crisis brought us the meltdown of 2008. Next, I wish they would understand about crony capitalism. Not always, but usually large companies love regulation. They love regulation because they've got plenty of money for lobbyists, and they can use regulation to keep competitors out of their segment. Compliance costs money. And those same companies are usually asking for a waiver as soon as the ink is dry on the new regulations or law. And lastly, I wish regulators would make up their mind about how the market aligns interests. As an example, we were told that when credit raters, like Moody's, for example, gave hyper-positive ratings to mortgage-backed securities, we were told that the interests of the rater and the rated were aligned, and that was a bad thing. During the Greek debt crisis, we were told that speculators were buying credit default swaps, not as insurance, but actually in the hopes that Greece would default on its debt and there would be a payout. We were told their interests were not aligned, and that was a bad thing. Which is it? At its core, this is an issue between stability and volatility, between inefficiency and efficiency and innovation. I actually don't think it has to be one or the other. We can do a better job balancing growth and safety. We just need a better government. That would be a smaller government.